and welcome to this special edition of the Brinker Leadership Series, Extraordinary Leaders in Extraordinary Times by Adi Partners. I am Sanjay Viswanathan.
COVID-19, the pandemic of this millennium, has actually changed our daily lives irrevocably. It has also given us an opportunity to actually go ahead and see how important it is to value nature and humanity. Who would have thought, Sanjay, that we would be locked up in our own homes in 2020 instead of being on Mars? I am Hiral Desai.
Indeed, Hiral. So through the Brinker Leadership Series, we are identifying a cohort of champions who can influence and energize this war against coronavirus. Similar to that diminutive and legendary 15-year-old boy in the Netherlands who saved his nation from being flooded. Our journey will take us to India, the Middle East, UK, Europe, America, and from there across the Pacific to the Far East and China. In today's special edition, we want to do something different, isn't it, Hiral?
Absolutely, Sanjay. In fact, in our series so far, we've spoken to extraordinary leaders from two sectors that actually hold the keys to this battle against coronavirus: healthcare and non-profit. Today, in our special edition, we will talk to two inspiring role models, leaders in their respective spheres of influence who have actually lent their time, reputation, network, and financial prowess to fight COVID-19.
Hunger on the streets was an unfortunate collateral fallout of the lockdown. Poor around the world went hungry as economies ground to a halt. KVN Foundation started the Feed My City campaign across 5 cities in India: Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, Noida, and Hyderabad. Adi Partners too was inspired by them to be part of their dream to pursue No One Goes Hungry. Their sponsors include many people across the globe. You could say they were crowdfunded. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome two of the leaders who chose to do something about it and joined hands for this cause to our special episode: Venkat, Narayana, and Kalyan Chakravarthy. Venkat is CEO of the Prestige Group, and Kalyan Chakravarthy is President and CFO of Piramal Realty. Welcome to the Brinker Leadership Series, Venkat and Kalyan.
In fact, congratulations to both of you on behalf of our viewers and Adi Partners for this great initiative.
Thank you very much for having us on your show.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Hiral.
Great pleasure.
Venkat, the way we've got introduced to this program as well was with Kalyan. Now, first, let me come to you. If you could just help us understand and give us some insights about KVN.
This is a non-profit foundation that we have formed 2 years ago with the intent to help the poor and underprivileged, talented kids to study further, provide them employment opportunities, scholarships, and to take up some schools and renovate them and give them that technology edge and all of that. As we were doing some of those activities, we were hit by this COVID. During that time, we made use of this foundation and started Feed My Bangalore as an initiative. In fact, as you mentioned in the opening remarks, Feed My City, it was actually started as a Feed My Bangalore, along with 2 other friends of mine. One is Jagimawa and the other is Ganesh. And this is started 2 days into lockdown, where we were saying that there are a lot of people who are going to go hungry, especially daily wage workers, migrant laborers and their children, and who have been handy to us during the normal circumstances. And how are they going to get their meals and their wages, their food from? So with the intent that we should give back to the city that gave us everything that we have today, we like-minded people came together under the KVN Foundation with Feed My City, Feed My Bangalore as an initiative, and started from the day 4 with 500 meals as in Feed My Bangalore.
Right, and that's a great initiative that we've been talking about. Kalyan, you were the one who actually looked at it from Mumbai's perspective. How did this initiative actually come along? Was this like a typical garage-style startup, if you have to look at it from a non-profit side of business?
Yeah, I guess it is a garage kind of startup without the garage. Uh, Essentially, what happened is when Venkat started it on 27th of March, he probably experimented it for a day or two before he reached out and he decided that the foundation needs money to run it and it needs more money. So I happened to get a brochure from him or a appeal letter kind of a thing. And then I pinged him on first morning saying, okay, I'm going to send some money across to you. Please use it. I have never been in this space of social sector. I've never done it. So Venkat called me. He and I go back more than a decade now. And he called me and said, why are you contributing? Why don't you start Feed My Mumbai? It was April 1st. So, the thought that goes into your mind when somebody says that, you obviously are not such a fool as the other guy thinks you to be. But he was obviously serious. And we caught hold of three friends and he said, you figure out, you should just do it. So we said, okay, because I was not very sure whether we will be able to execute. Ended up getting about three friends. All of us said, okay, we will pledge about 1.5 lakh each, probably fund 500 meals for the next 1 month. Because Bangalore just about that time had started with 500 and probably had reached 2000 or so. We said 500 for three friends should be good enough for a month. And we started making some calls. We realized there is a lot of ropes to learn very, very quickly, which is where probably the garage startup metaphor fits fairly well. We had no clue as to how the civic authorities go about giving you approvals. So reach out to the police, reach out to the BMC. We had no clue where we will cook all of these meals. Obviously, our personal kitchens can support maximum 5 meals. So we wanted to do 500. We had no idea how to start. So there, of course, lots of help came from Venkat, Ganesh, and others, Jaggi and others from Bangalore. But essentially, what happened is by that evening, we got three more friends who said they will also pledge equally. Why don't we start at 1,000? And then we went to get the permissions. We ended up talking to Rakesh Maria, the ex commissioner of police for Mumbai. He put us in touch with the police who were our first distribution help, so to say, in Mumbai. And in the meantime, we basically took a plunge saying that we'll figure out how to double another 6 friends like-minded who will support this cause. So let's do 2000 a day. And that's how we started the first day with 2000. But 2 days later, we decided there is too much of distress on the street. We kept on ramping up our capacity. Second day, we did 5,000 meals. Third day, we did 7,500 meals. And all the money which was pledged was gone in front of our eyes or fast disappearing. So we said it's time to reach out to friends and family. And one of the first calls, in fact, went to Sanjay. And Sanjay, without blinking, supported us. And rest has been history. The numbers have gone from heights to heights. But that's not really the achievement. I guess operationally it is very, very, very complex, but we have kind of cracked that part of it. The distress continued to be the same. The empathy continues to be the same. The feel for the cause continues to be the same. I got off some fundraising calls before this, and during the day, whenever I find some time from some office work or otherwise, I still keep doing fundraising work because there are certain things which just don't end.
I'm sure, because the kind of satisfaction that everyone will be getting out of this also will be immense. A phenomenal journey that we've been seeing with all of you. In fact, if you have to look at KVN, Venkat, help us understand more in terms of Feed My City. How did it get so much momentum so quickly? I know Kalyan, actually wrapped it up for us as to how you'll actually multiplied. Because if you have to talk about KVN as well, I think the maximum momentum that it's picked up, I think, has been in times of COVID, right?
Absolutely. So, just to add to what Kalyan said and how it picked up the entire momentum, we started on 27th of March with 500 meals in Bangalore. And within a week's time, we were in 5 cities. And we expanded to 5 cities, and we were doing almost close to 1 lakh meals a day from 500 meals a day. So even when we started on the day one, except the intent that we want to reach out to the poor and help them, we didn't know how to go about with the whole thing. I mean, none of us entered kitchen in last 5-6 years anytime, so we don't know how to cook, and so we need to figure out the partners. And that's where Hungerbox is the industrial B2B kitchen, which provides meals to the canteens of various companies, and they came on board, and we took permissions from the government and administration, and got those the kitchens opened, and they started providing cooked meals. So the reason why it could get a lot of momentum and we could expand so quickly is, though it's a social startup, we actually formulated this entire thing to be a run in a corporate style. So we had 5 legs. One is a funding contribution leg, other is a kitchen, and the third is a distribution leg, and fourth is licensing and all that, and fifth is the reporting back to donors as to what kind of work we are doing and all of that. So therefore, we knew that we need to have this kind of functioning. So we had a playbook ready. Therefore, it became very easy to expand to Hyderabad, Mumbai, Noida, and Chennai, and do what we've been doing. So, it's more of the form of functioning, the kind of people that we have got, like Kalyan said in Mumbai, and we also have got a good corporate CXOs who came on board to pay back to the respective cities and take care of the needy in Hyderabad and other places. So therefore, with their reach, their network, and a lot of support from the corporates as well, right from, people like Paytm, PhonePe, SBI, HCL, Prestige Group, Bank of Baroda, Kotak, and many corporates. And even the retail contributors point of view, we have more than 50,000 people who came on board, contributed to the cause. Without their support, we shouldn't have been able to do as much as we can. Normally, we come from the corporate, we come with a little bit of credibility to protect, and people know that every rupee that they contribute to this cause go down to the needy in the form of meal, and there's no leakage whatsoever. I think that helped in many people coming forward and contributing.
Incredible. And one of the things that we've always wondered, and we wanted to ask you when we got this opportunity, is what really motivated you to get going? I mean, for example, Kalyan, from your perspective, you could have even funded this as an existing non-profit, right?
No, absolutely. I guess it's the same thing that motivates most of us. Obviously, COVID provided a pretty unique challenge, and any amount of good being done by any number of people was not good enough. So I think a force multiplier was necessary. Somebody needed to jump into the field to essentially leverage on the network that we individually bring to the table. All of us know people, and it was easier for us to step in, make those calls, pull people out of that, and a voluntary network of people who were wanting to do something on the ground, which was leverageable and waiting for some invitation to come and join. So there was an option to go passive, contribute in a passive manner, and probably indulge, like I did tell somebody the other day, the first 3-4 days of COVID, how it went. You basically do your Netflix binge watching, or you read more, or you sleep more. You're trying to catch up on those kind of things, or you are on endless Zoom calls with your office colleagues. So that's how largely the first 4-5 days went for me. This opened an additional dimension. I guess somewhere it was destiny which wanted to plunge. I don't think there was a lot of method to this particular madness, but it's a madness which has never given, no other madness has given me rather more pleasure than this one has.
Incredible.
And also one thing I wanted to point it out on the previous question of Hiral, in terms of a startup, this is also pretty unique in a way that in each city, we probably have a core group of about 15 to 20 people. And in Bombay, for example, I know 2 more out of the remaining 20. I don't know anybody else. They all came through references in the early days. We all talk as if we are long lost friends for decades. That's how we have become close. And as a result, it is almost like a cloud startup. It's a WhatsApp startup. It's an email startup. It's a telephone startup. So the garage is virtual to that extent.
Yeah. I mean, just to add to what Kalyan said, one more point is we are 400 plus member army now, apart from the core team, if you count the people at the kitchen. And except for a dozen people, we don't know each other. We have never met each other. We have seen the first time. We have been talking only on Zoom and WhatsApp, trying to do all this. So it's been incredible how people came forward and contributed. We had calls at midnight, talking to people. Of course, I must tell you that administration of each of the cities has been very, very supportive. In Mumbai, I think BMC and the police. In Bangalore, again, BBMP, the government, the police, and everywhere, each of the cities, without their support, we couldn't have been able to do anything. And like Kalyan was mentioning, And day one, we also spent a lot of time making a list of what need to be done, what can we learn, and how can we be productive during the lockdown and all of that. In the day two, after finished watching a movie, somehow there's a restlessness saying that, for me personally, I don't belong to Bangalore. I came to Bangalore 24 years ago for nothing. And for whatever I am today, the city and the people of the city are responsible. And today, if the city needs, if this is not the time to give back, then when else will be the right time? That's the thought that was going in my mind, saying that if not now, when else? We all calling it as the biggest crisis after World War II. And in this state of mind, a couple of friends interacted, and immediately we jumped into and get going.
Fantastic, Venkat. So tell us a little more about the impact that you both wanted to generate with this when you started, and how does it look now vis-a-vis that?
When we started the initial mission, wherever you see our banners, posters, and all, we said mission 3 lakh meals. We started with a small mission saying that, okay, we'll serve during this lockdown period 3 lakh meals. But then, when we went on ground, the need was immense. The day one, when we went with our food truck to some of the slums where the migrant labor, some of the labor colonies, people were running behind our trucks. The worst hit has been Noida. And it's so saddening to see. And, it looked like they've not eaten for 24 hours, 36 hours. And when we stopped the truck and people are pouncing on the food packets, and then we had to explain to them saying that it is not going to be one day affair. It's not that we're going to give you food today and tomorrow we're going to leave you high and dry. We said from beginning today till the lockdown is over, we're going to come every day. We're going to take care of you. That's what promise that we made. And every place where we started on the day one, we continue to serve even today. And therefore, people at those locations follow all the compliances. The second day onwards, there is a social distancing norm that's been maintained. And we go, they know what time we're going to come. And this meal is cooked at extremely hygiene conditions. They're all certified by ISO and all the food norms and all of that. So the impact, whatever we could make on ground, thanks to all the support from the administration, has been phenomenal. But as Kalyan was mentioning earlier, how much you do will fall short because the need has been so immense. There are more people to feed. We feel very sad when we see small children, with shorts and banyan keep running, asking for food. And it's very saddening. And at the same time, when we go on ground and play a role of volunteer and distribute, that actually what motivates and then inspires us to reach out that extra mile to do a lot more than what we've been doing. That's what actually has been keeping us going so far.
Fantastic. And when you look at the feedback that you get from people who previously went hungry, what are you hearing from them?
So as I said, I think one of the examples I've given to you, some people are extremely happy. So there are two levels of feedback I would like to talk about. We have got certain distribution partners who help us. That's how it ended up shaping up as we went along.
Right.
So in Mumbai, for example, Rotary, which came through one of our volunteers called Ram Yadav, has been an early partner, has been with us from day one. They have been distributing in a couple of centers for us. Similarly, there is Don Bosco Sisters who help us across multiple locations. There is the Mumbai Police who across about 6 police stations in Andheri, they help us. There is the Home Guard, the DGP Home Guard along with his staff who help us. And there is Teach for India which helps us. So there are a bunch of these various programs which are there. We also have partnered with Annamitra, which is another foundation. So we are pretty open to working alongside anybody as long as the cause is common, the moment is towards a common goal. We have gone along and made good friends on the field. And we have been lucky also, I guess. Some of these has been with respect to the quality of volunteers that one gets. Nitin has been a friend for a long time, and he runs the operations of both the kitchen, demand aggregation, distribution so flawlessly. It's amazing. Similarly, there is a social media and the creative side. There is a lady called Tara Verma who has been a friend. I've never met her in life, but she is in the Mumbai team doing such a fabulous job, including a concert which we ran recently. So everybody brings the A game to the table and, contributes the best. So there is an impact, like Venkat says, which happens to yourself, but there is an impact that you to the larger society as well. Your friends are energized, your family is energized, and hopefully we are making a small little difference out there.
Right, and I think when you're on a mission, I think, and a good cause, all your jigsaw puzzles actually get solved, by itself. I don't think so. I mean, yes, efforts are needed, but it's always sorted by the end of the day when you're looking at something great like this. Uh, Venkat, let me come to you with something, what you've been doing with regards to, on weekends on behalf of KVN. We're really intrigued, with the live concert by everyday leaders for Feed My City. If you could just tell us more about it, how did it come about, and what was the kind of impact it actually had?
Very significant impact. In fact, we were reaching out to people and to contribute. We were posting our social media posts about the daily dashboard as to what we have done and which all cities we are present and all of that. And some of the students from Malya Aditi in Bangalore came forward and said, "What you guys are doing is very good. Is there any way we can come forward and help?" So these guys came together. All the kids from various schools across Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, the Gurgaon, and Kashmir. Also, I think somebody was JNK. Somebody was performing, and various students came together and put up one show, virtual concert, Feed My City live by students. That was the first series that we had.
Correct.
And they could mobilize almost the funds that are required for 70,000 plus meals by performing, sitting at home and contributing to this cause. So, few weeks into that, then we were talking about it and we said, why not we do with the CXOs of corporate? These guys run businesses in the day to day, but when they are multi-talented, there are some people who can showcase. And why not bring out that talent and help raise money for Feed My City and we can support. So that's how the entire thought process came in. Series 1 we did with the children, kids of schools, and the last one was with the CXOs of various companies. And they are very, very talented. If you have seen the show, some of them are actually like professionals. And we thank each one and every one of them having come forward and helped that cause.
Right, that's a great initiative. In fact, Kalyan, taking the new normal into consideration, everyone's moving to probably virtual reality right now. Do you think you guys will be planning more such gigs?
I guess there was not much of a plan behind this, but having started what we have started, there is a lot we are actually planning. There is a lot that we brainstorm, at least Venkat and I, by virtue of the fact that we know each other for long. We brainstorm the lab of madness. Lots of ideas go through that, with respect to what could be done. Essentially, India is an ocean of opportunities, and also it is an ocean of gaps. There are lots of people who need help. There is a lot one can do to help various sections of the society. So while I guess lots of details will not be or cannot be shared at this stage because some of them are still germinating, but absolutely yes. I think you will hear more from us. Hopefully, as you see, none of these projects are fly-by-night projects. These are not a short-term 30-day projects. I was telling Venkat that this should be a 30-year project, the 30 days of which has finished.
Right, absolutely. I mean, we would love to see KVN pick up momentum like this.
So there's something that I wanted to ask you both is when other responsible corporate leaders want to create similar social impact, what would you both advise them?
No, so I guess there is no one single piece of advice other than probably have clarity of purpose. Make sure that what you are doing is something you are passionate about, associate with the right cause, and there is no need to go active. There could be constraints coming in terms of family, health, whatever, and sometimes your company needs you more than probably the society needs you, and each way of giving to the society, each path is equally important. If you are as a business leader providing employment, creating jobs, that is as important as a social sector person doing something. So as long as you give something, as long as you do the right thing for the nation and to your soul, I think it is equally okay.
Yeah, I think I concur with what Kalyan said. I think everybody is doing in their own way because providing employment is the biggest thing. If you provide employment for everybody who is worthy of it or who is skilled enough, I don't think we need to do all this because people will be on their own. So, but at the same time, given the demographics of India and then people living below poverty line, there's a lot that can be done, and companies are doing through CSR already. And some of them, if they're not able to do, there are people like us through us. There are many other NGOs who were born quite some time ago doing some fabulous job, which they can contribute to. I mean, the key, if you want to get into corporate social setup, is with our experience of last 35 days that we have seen the how I would say desire to do, number one. Number two, that kind of team that you build and the kind of people that you have, that is going to be the key, and the partners, of course.
If I may just, Sanjay, on that one.
Sure.
Beyond business leaders, I guess all of us as human beings are individually, when we run our households, are also employers. We have, let's say, a maid servant, or for that matter, a driver, a mason, or some plumber who comes and helps us. As the shattered lives start getting coming back into place, in the sense when the lockdown is lifted, bringing all these daily wage workers back to earning their livelihoods, they would need a lot of support, accommodative behavior from us, and a little bit of generosity. That is one thing I think in the immediate short term, over the next 15, 20 days, 30 days, as life starts getting rebuilt for these guys, I think there is an enormous amount of leadership that each of us as an individual need to bring to the table. The smallest thing that we could do, but it will be the largest heart at display.
And that's an excellent point you make, because if we now look at how the world of social distance is going to evolve, and in a lot of the social behaviors that we took for granted, like going to a cinema theater or a mall, and even giving people a hug, is going to seem like distant memory. So when you look at social life and social behavior in that context, how do you both see the world of giving and the kind of activities that you're all doing? How do you see that evolving?
I was talking to Kalyan a few days ago, and I was telling him on the very same thing. Earlier, if you like a person, you go and hug him. Now you express your love by not hugging him. So that's how things have changed. This is something which is unthinkable, unprecedented, that has taken place. And there are a lot of introspection I think everybody is doing. The way we're going to live, the way we're going to do businesses, the way we're going to treat the nature, everything is going to undergo change. I think a significant number of people are not going to be the same again in terms of the way they're going to lead lives. So some change is definitely warranted and necessitated during these times. But I'm sure the way things earlier, we used to measure time in terms of BC and AC, before Christ and after Christ, or AD after death. I think new norm is going to be before Corona and after Corona. Same BC and AC will be interpreted differently. And what matters is, what did somebody do during the Corona? So I'm sure everybody will have a story to tell after this period is over. But somebody who have done worthwhile things will be proud of what they have done. It's not going to be the same again. So giving, so more than anything else, one is giving. I think humanity as a whole has come together to help the needy. That's very heartening. I think that's a gesture. Like the way I said, the children of schools coming forward and helping. Not only the money that we are looking, that's not a metrics that we are looking at, the money that they raised, but the thinking process got influenced. Right? Tomorrow there were to be some social issue that you need to stand up, and these kids, I'm sure, are going to be the front ending the whole thing, and they'll stand up and they try and do. I think one is changing the thought process, the whole thing. The second is the very same people Kalyan was talking about, daily wages, who used to help us every day. I think the way you start treating them, I think is going to undergo change. So it's not going to be the same earlier treatment. And all of us, I mean, especially the people who are in the corporate CXO level, for us, if our day were to go right, our cook has to come on time, maid has to come on time, driver has to come on time, and they all have to contribute their bit for our day to go right. Correct. I mean, I know. And so I was telling somebody recently, instead of made for each other, everybody is missing mates for each other. So that's how it's been. I think two things. One is the lot of the humanitarian giving heart has come out, and
Yes.
that should continue. And the second is the way we're going to look at these daily wages from now on, because we are interdependent. I mean, the luxurious buildings that we live in, the furniture that we use, or the transportation of people from one place to other place, or things from one place to other place, are done by them. So, we are a builder. We think and conceptualize what an iconic building to come out with. But at the end of the day, he's the one who does everything. Social distancing, washing hands, and buying groceries in advance and keeping in refrigerators. All those are privileges that we enjoy. So they
Yes.
don't know social distancing, given the density, is a luxury for many. I mean, we are talking about how much to stock. They are thinking about where is the next meal going to come from. Sometimes when we go and distribute the food, people ask for water because they don't have a drinking water. So that's a reality. But post-COVID, as you said, I think these three things will emerge. Thinking aspect, the way we do business, the way we treat others, and the giving aspect will definitely continue.
Fascinating. Well, I want to really thank you both, Venkat and Kalyan, for making the time for us. It was terrific to have you both on the show, and really for the world to listen to the tremendous work that you both are doing. May you both have many more such opportunities to build on this.
Thank you very much, Sanjay,
Thank-
for having
thank-
us on this show, and also congratulations on starting this Brinker series. I think it's a pretty motivating, the agenda that you guys are driving. It's pretty inspirational agenda where lots of people kind of get to learn things from watching this, hopefully, and you are allowing or letting message to get cross-pollinated across the horizon. So that's good. Great
you.
job
Thank
by
you,
you
Sanjay.
guys as well.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Venkat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kalyan.
Thank you,
Thank
Hiral.
you.
And
Thanks,
congratulations on the initiative. And I just wanted to reach out to all your viewers saying that please do help, please do come forward, please do support. We can do a lot more difference together. Let's ensure that no one goes hungry. One of the lockdown speeches, during the lockdown speeches, our PM said, "Jaan hai to jahan hai." We went off to people appealing, saying that "Khana hai to jaan hai to jahan hai."
Wow.
Absolutely. Very well said.
So,
Very well said, Venkat. And
thank you so much. Thank you.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for joining us. In fact, fascinating and insightful discussion, Sanjay, isn't it? I mean, the kind of prowess that we see, and the inspiration that comes out for all of us out of this conversation is real. Because you've been on the ground, you've seen what's happening on the ground, and that is actual experience that Venkat and Kalyan have got for us. In fact, thank you all the viewers as well for tuning in. Sanjay and I will be back same time to share more about extraordinary leaders in these extraordinary times, and we will get you such special episodes with leaders themselves. See you soon.